Radio check, radio check. If you guys can hear me, type F1 live in chat. Let's try this. So if you can hear me, type F1 live in chat. And welcome back everyone. This is the stream for the FP3 watch along of the Australian Grand Prix. And there's a lot to talk about. I have been diving into the data whole day. I think the timing in my time zone was perfect because you can go to sleep right after FP2 ended and then you wake up next day and you have so much data to work with, so much analysis, so much people have done charts and everything. So there are some interesting things I wanted to go through. Like first, let's go through a quick recap of FP1 and FP2. Then we're gonna dive into some telemetry data to see which teams, how are they using the deployment and when, where they are having, they are gaining most time. And then there seems to be some change of the track that FIA has made like in the last moment because some teams were complaining for safety issues. This might affect some teams, but let's see. I'm not even sure if that's confirmed because I'm seeing two types of reports, like some saying it was reversed back, but we will talk about that in a minute. Welcome everyone first in chat. So there's Shay, there's Grash, there's Prince Raiken, Dark Maui, Star Tamer, HJS, Cedar, Kromaradeza, Thomas Peters, and Dark Maui has been a member for 14 months. So thank you so much. Go Williams. Yeah, I really want Williams to do well too. So let's go first into FP1 and FP2 and see what we learned from Friday, who looks fastest, or at least we get some clues. I mean, we still don't know who is fastest. So yeah, it's still too early to draw final conclusions, but the data from FP1 and FP2 has started to reveal the different strengths of Mercedes, Ferrari, McLaren, and Red Bull. So we're gonna mostly focus on these four teams, but there's also some pointers of who might be the, let's say, Williams from 2025, because there's some data that shows that. So on screen we have the FP1 results. We had Ferrari 1-2, Leclerc with 120.267. By the way, this lap of Leclerc was on 14 laps old soft tire, so there's a lot of pace there. That's a good news for Ferrari. We have then Hamilton P2, P3 and P4 are Verstappen and Hajar, Lindblad P5, Piastri P6, Russell and Antonelli 7 and 8, and Audi has been in P9 and P10, so really good performance from Audi in FP1. We didn't see Aston Martin. They're still with the, you know, their issues, and Norris also had some issues too, so he didn't set very fast time, only 4 seconds slower than Leclerc on the medium tire. So that is for the FP1. Now let's quickly take a look at what happened in FP2, at least for the results, because FP2 is closer with the conditions to the race, so FP2 might be more representative times and more representative conditions. So I'm gonna pull FP2 results on screen. We see Piastri top the chart, 119.729. Then we had the two Mercedes drivers, Antonelli P2, Russell P3 with 0.2, 0.3 behind Piastri. Hamilton was very close to the Russell time, almost identical. Then we had Leclerc P5, Verstappen P6, Norris P7, Lindblad consistently being within the top 6-7 drivers in FP1 and FP2, Hajar, Ocon, Berman, Hülkenberg, Lawson, Bortoleto, Albon, Gasly, Sainz, Colapinto, Bottas, and Alonso. Alonso managed to set a time with a Aston Martin, but that was like almost 5 seconds behind Piastri. And yeah, those are the results from FP2. So now if we take a look from some long runs in FP2, I'm gonna bring that image, the chart back on the screen. Now, even though here it looks like, okay, Hamilton is fastest, but if you look into the brackets above the names and the numbers, you can see that the most representative long runs were from Russell and Antonelli. They did like 11 and 12 laps, and this looks like Russell held an advantage of roughly 4/10 over Antonelli on comparable runs, which is notable even if we don't know that the fuel loss, the setup differences, or the engine modes that they have been using. This is still a notable difference on a long run. And compared to similar Ferrari and McLaren runs, Mercedes appears to have the upper hand into the long runs, at least from what we see in FP2. Yeah, so what makes this pace of Mercedes even more interesting is that they were not dominating the top speed charts on these longer stints specifically. So the trap speeds were relatively modest compared to some of the rivals. So maybe they were even holding some speed, because we were seeing on the main straights they were slower than the others, and yeah, that brings up some questions if they are holding back some time, or yeah, just it is just what it is. So yeah, that's why I think, I mean, from what we have seen so far, Mercedes looks like they have the best pace, but it's still, of course, too early to say. Now, Ferrari, on the other hand, it's a bit of a different story about Ferrari, and some good news and some bad news. So if we, let me see, too many tabs. So I'm gonna bring first from FP1 the track dominance. I mean, in FP1 Leclerc was almost half a second faster than the second driver, which was Hamilton, but still I think it's good to see it. So Ferrari made a really strong impression, and their performance profile looks very different from what is the one of Mercedes, and maybe even from McLaren. So the standout feature of Ferrari on Friday was their strength in the low speed corners. I mean, this is a big advantage, I would say, to them, because we were talking even in Bahrain, the low speed corners are the ones that, I mean, not just the low speed corners, but in general, the corners are really gonna matter for this season. So yeah, Ferrari standing out in these corners is really a good positive thing for them. And yeah, with multiple comparisons, they consistently are carrying better minimum speeds than their main rivals. So this suggests that the car is really rotating well in the slower sections, and it is allowing the drivers to keep the momentum while the others are losing a little bit more speed. So that strength really clearly shows up in FP1 when Leclerc his lap time was really fast, and not just that it was fast, it was set on a 14 lap old soft tire, so there's still a lot of pace there. But even if you think that, well, maybe this is just Leclerc, just his driving style, if you look at Lewis Hamilton later in FP2, the similar things were popping up in the data. So it's not driver specific, it's more like a car specific. So yeah, I think that's a really positive sign for Ferrari. We don't know, maybe they are just showing up more earlier than the other teams, and the other teams are just trying to keep for late FP3 and for quali. Maybe they are just getting ahead of everyone in showing what's in their pockets, but in any case, the pace is there and the speed is there, and the car looks really good in the low corners. Okay, now I think I'm gonna change. Let me see. Okay, I don't have this chart. We can see the top speeds in FP2. Aston Martin slowest than anyone. We had Behrman, Lawson, Limblad. They are having the highest top speed, and then it's Leclerc on P4. So I wanted to go now a bit deeper into the telemetry, but before we go there, I see that we have 260 people here, 52 likes. So if you guys can like the stream, that really helps the channel out and pushes us into the algorithm. So yeah, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you're new here, and yeah, we do this every session for every race. You will be seeing this analysis, you will be seeing the live watch-alongs, commentary with me and Grash, and yeah, we will try to keep you updated as much as we can. And even if you're a beginner, if you don't understand a lot of things that we're talking about or showing on screen, feel free to let me know. Yeah, I messed up the timer again. Sorry about that. Then thanks, Grash, for letting me know. I don't know why I'm doing that. Okay, let me switch it. So it's 19 minutes until the session starts. All right, now it's better. Yeah, because it's not on the hour. Yeah, it keeps confusing me, I guess. All right, let's move on with the telemetry data, which I found really interesting, because I'm also not an expert in this technical data, but I really could understand these graphs. So first, we're gonna look at the times of Leclerc, Verstappen, and Russell. Let me just make it a bit bigger on screen. So these are their best laps in FP1, I believe. Now you can see before corner 6, before turn 6, you can see the speed of, by the way, the chart is showing the top speed. In each corner, you can see in the bottom, in green numbers, the corners. And yeah. So this is comparing Russell, Leclerc, and Verstappen. Verstappen is with yellow color, so it might be a bit confusing, but yeah, that was the best to represent this. So you can see in turn 6, before turn 6, Russell is like very much faster than Leclerc and Verstappen. So somehow, I mean, they are deploying more power there, or they are not clipping, they are not losing power. But then, let me see. Yeah, so before turn 6, Russell is carrying dramatically more speed than Ferrari and Red Bull. And the reason appears to be the energy deployment. So Ferrari and Red Bull started to lose the electrical assistance and they began clipping into turn 6. But if we move forward to the graph, you can see the picture changes completely into the long flat out between turn 8 and turn 9. Actually, this is something that I'm going to mention later, because it seems like there's going to be some change here because of safety reasons. So in this section, Ferrari and Red Bull were much faster in the straight line. So Mercedes was losing, you can see from the chart, like the one in red circle, Mercedes lost huge chunks of time. So I believe here Russell is losing about 50 kilometers per hour compared to the speed of Leclerc. And yeah, simply because the car could not maintain the same level of deployment for as long as Ferrari and Red Bull can do it here. But later you can see again into turn 10 and 11, Mercedes is again the one getting on top. So it's kind of, teams are deciding if in which turns they are going to be deploying battery, they are going to be charging battery, and we can see different strategies already. So Red Bull and Ferrari prefer turn 8, 9, and Mercedes is going before and after. And this is not just one-off. You can see later we're gonna compare other drivers. We're gonna see the similar pattern for the same teams. Now McLaren showed a very similar pattern. Now McLaren is not in this chart, so I'm gonna bring another one. This is, I think, from FP2. So Piastri, Hamilton, and Antonelli. Now you can see very similar thing here. Although before turn 6, you see McLaren is even faster than Mercedes. Now this could be related to the engine because McLaren and Mercedes are having the same engine, so maybe the setups work best if they are deploying more into before turn 6 and then between turn 10 and 11, and then Ferrari is better in slow corners, so maybe for their setups it works more in between these two windows where McLaren and Mercedes are pushing a lot. Now the big unknown here is whether Mercedes and McLaren were intentionally holding back on those longer flat out sections, maybe saving something for qualifying, or this is really a genuine limitation for these new 2026 cars and they have to do this to be able to manage their energy the best. So McLaren does not look yet like clear favorites. They had some issues, but they definitely look very competitive. Yeah, the team seems stronger in Australia than they were in Bahrain in the testing, and the data suggests that they are very much in the mix at the front. Yeah, similar to Mercedes, they are powerful in the same deployment zones, but also for McLaren, you can see on the chart right now, they are very much faster and deploying a lot more into the beginning and in the end of the lap, especially in the beginning of the lap. You can see it on the left side of the chart. So yeah, maybe they are just their strategy is to deploy more there, and then they are losing a lot more where Ferrari is strong. Now the thing is that last that I saw is that FIA has removed the straight line mode between turn 6 and turn 9 for safety reasons. This is after concerns expressed by drivers, and it will become even worse for energy recovery for drivers where because the drivers were experiencing front and rear sliding through there at high speed. So I don't know if this is confirmed. I mean, if anyone knows, let us know in chat. But if that is true, that is actually a bad news for mostly for Ferrari because they were the fastest in that section. So yeah, I don't know if that's confirmed because after I posted this, I think on social media, someone said that this has been reversed because the teams have complained. But is it still in place? Is it reversed? I am not sure. And we are 11 minutes until the start of the FP3 session. By the way, Grash is gonna join us for commentary there. I'm just gonna be here until he is ready. Let me see. So Red Bull. We didn't mention a lot about Red Bull, and I'm gonna change here the image to the FP2 results. This is big. Until we get the data. We should get the data any minute now. And yeah, I'll remove the image then. Okay, the minimap seems to be gone too, so let me try to refresh. I think it should be back in like 10 seconds, but let's see. Still not there. Okay, we will have to wait a little bit, but the data will load very soon. So just bear with me there. A map like this for now. Alright, so Red Bull. Red Bull might be the hardest team to judge after Friday. So Max Verstappen's laps showed flashes of real pace, especially in the high speed section, where the car looked very strong and efficient. And yeah, in some straight line phases. So Red Bull was really matching to the times of Ferrari and Mercedes. So the underlying speed is obviously there. But at the same time, Verstappen, it doesn't look like he took like a fully representative lap time, at least a quali lap. So he had a lower number of soft tire running than the others. So I don't think that he was even testing for that. And if we take a look at the throttle usage, he has used the full throttle in only 57% of the lap, while compared to the other top teams, they were using it like 62-63% of the lap, like the full throttle to press to the bottom. So maybe yeah, Red Bull is still hiding something. We will have to wait and see, but there's definitely a lot of potential going on there. Now for the other teams, Audi was really a big surprise. So yeah, they had some encouraging displays in the data. Still look like they're not ready to challenge the front runners, but they appear to be right behind them. So maybe they are going to be fighting for the best of the rest team. So Hülkenberg seemed to be in the mix on both the quicker laps and the longer runs, which is really impressive considering they are relatively a new team. And yeah, it would be interesting to see how Audi is gonna develop throughout the season. And I'm just seeing that Grush is ready to go, so I'm gonna leave you guys to Grush and I'm gonna try to fix the data in the meantime. So yeah, make sure to like the stream, subscribe, and I'm gonna see you soon.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or dead of night, as some of you may be. I know several of you in the European time zones, it's definitely dead night. Welcome to the Race channel. Again, those of you, again, we've been here about 24 minutes, 25 minutes so far already with the boss going over some data. Interesting that we are seeing, the thing I picked out is that in turn, I think it was 667. I believe Russell is deploying energy in that straight, and then goes to the big S, which is the 8-9 section, and he doesn't have the energy, and so he's slower there. And so Leclerc and Hamilton, and I think it was Verstappen and Leclerc were faster than Russell. So it's just interesting to see that data already. So. One of the things we've got to deal with right now, big news. So during the Formula 3 sprint race, they're showing it on F1 TV. So the Prema crew not having a good day. Two of their drivers basically decided to race hard, and there was a moment where one bumped one off the track. They came back together. They raced hard again, and then they collide. It is literally. You could you watch that, you watch them racing, and you watch it happen, and it basically they went into the barrier. They went into the barriers really hard. It's so much that they actually managed to bounce the barrier up off the ground. I don't know how to explain that to you. It's just this. the barrier came up off the ground and came back down on top of the car effectively. That effectively ended the F3 sprint race. So those who are asking about this, the F3 sprint race, it happened. They went 9 laps and then got red flagged, and then they basically ended up having to go. They basically canceled the rest of the race because they needed to fix the track effectively. It took like 20 minutes to get one car onto a flatbed. So yeah, that was not slow response from the stewards, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, it's just so right now we're in a yellow flag on the track. It is a good question whether we will start on time. One is starting their broadcast right now. They just before they went to their normal broadcast, the pre-show showed the F3 crash again, and it's just who the Premier drivers. It was, I believe, Sharp and Wharton. As someone said, one of the great Aussie hopes. Someone referred to them as so. Yeah, it did total both of the cars. We're in about that 3-4 minute range right now, but it is we might not be. It depends. Yeah, it is a question of is the barrier and the track back to a raceable condition because it wasn't. 23 minutes ago was not in that condition. So looking for any race control messages right now. I'm looking right now on my F1 TV broadcast for that message. Okay, and the race so start of free practice 3 will be delayed, and again that's because of that Premier crash in FP3, this FP3 sprint race. Again, Sharp and Warren in F3 crashed and went into the barrier. I believe it was the like the turn 12 barrier. So, boss, you might well just take the FP starts counter down and put an F3 FP3's delayed message up for now. They are still putting so it's a Tech Pro barrier, so that means it's supposed to be easy to manipulate, and they're still working on that barrier right now. I'm wondering if there's pieces of that barrier that were destroyed in that. Again, those who are just arriving right now, we are dealing with a yellow flag scenario because the track is being put back together. Estimated time of session start is 12:45 local, so we're looking at another 15 minutes before we get there. Oh boy, this is going to be a long session. Hamilton's getting out of his car right now. He was about ready to go out. That camera is following Hamilton. Oh. Hamilton's gone over to his mom. So again, right now we are waiting for basically we're estimated 15 minutes. Again, 12:45 local time, estimated time of session start right now. Got a shot of George in his car. His helmet's off though. Is that Oscar? Yep. No, it's Lando. So a shot of Lando. He's out of his car. Overalls, top half of his overalls are down. Question in chat right now. Where are you guys from? Both Twitch and YouTube chat. We've got people from Barcelona, from the UK. Again, I'm Grash right now. I'm in North Texas, is where I'm living right now. I live here for work. I am from the Northeast, specifically south of Boston, north of Providence, if that's where my accent comes from. There are several variants of accents through that Northeast area. So going from New York through Connecticut, then through Rhode Island, other parts of Rhode Island, then where I'm at, then you start getting into the dropping the R's in the Boston accent. People from the US, Germany, Philippines, Canada, Australia, Philippines, New York, Alberta. People around the world here right now. Got Ollie Bearman munching down on something. Looks like rice. Rhode Island. Still is in Kentucky, Western Kentucky, USA, 11 hours from Dallas. Yeah, I did that drive still. So I know what that's like. I came down I came down about 3.5 years ago. I came down from Connecticut to Texas to move into my apartment. And my route came through Kentucky. Yes, I also in North Texas. Oh, nice. Hello, neighbor. Kenny's in East Alabama. Alexis is from Argentina. Do we get to watch the race? Well, we're not going to display the audio or video of the race here, DS Jim. We're a watch along, and as it is right now, we're in free practice, and as it is even still, they're still working on fixing the track. Again, it's about now 40, at least 45 minutes ago, at least. F3 had their sprint race. And on lap 9, the Warden and Sharp, these are two Prema drivers, decided it was a good idea to race each other hard, and they ended up crashing into one of the barriers, one of the tech boat barriers, and they went into that barrier hard. They basically destroyed both their cars. So Prema's got to rebuild 2 cars overnight for the primary race next week. I mean, I'd say next week, for tomorrow. See how that goes. It took about 25 minutes to get one of the cars onto a lorry and up and and still the truck was still not moving out of the area. So we just showed them about 5 minutes ago track crew working on the barrier itself. Now one of the drivers went into a Trecto barrier and managed to push it up, which I've never seen ever happen before. So the barrier went up and came back down onto the car. Both drivers were fine. Both got out and did the walk of shame. But that accumulated to the red flag, which ultimately suspended the F3 race was suspended and then did not resume. So for those the top 5 drivers in F3, they got 5 points for the top spot, down to 1 point to P5. So it's still saying at 12:45, so about 10 minutes start time. 10 minutes to our start of FP3. A shot of the circuit right now. It's a drone shot. It's coming, I think. So yeah, it is again, we are now waiting for a green light. While we have a chance right now, there were some decision documents. There we go. I knew there was a third one. There we go. So decision document 26. So I'm gonna go. Here we go. 27. Okay, so I'm going to go in reverse order of the decision document. So this is document number 27. So if you guys remember yesterday during FP2, Colapino was driving slow on the main straight, past the start-finish line, and Hamilton came up behind him. Basically, again, it says Colapino was caught by Hamilton, and while Hamilton had to collect, Colapino was apparently surprised to find moving so slowly on the racing line, he had to take evasive action to avoid collision. That's what happened. Colapino knew that Hamilton was there. He was watching his mirrors, knew Hamilton was there. He was instructed by his team to stay to the left because the race director's competition notes exit marks the exit point on the main straight on the left side of the track. If he had tried to move off the racing line, he had no driving, would have created more dangerous situation. So basically, Colapino was driving slowly because there was an issue with his car. And ultimately, because of that, he was also trying to get to an exit point on the track. So Colapino was doing what he was supposed to be doing. He wasn't intentionally trying to drive slowly. And so for that reason, basically, there was no further action. George Russell is going to be the one that's going to be the fun one here. So we saw yesterday that Russell poked his nose out into the fast lane of the pit lane, fast lane, and basically collided with car 41, Ari Lindblad. And there's a lot. This argument basically goes through. Yeah, it's Russell's fault, but we basically gave him a reprimand for what happened. So there's that. And then George, that earlier performed a start practice outside the designated start practice area. And basically what they saw, what specifically. Yeah, so basically what ended up happening here is that the area for the start zone, George, because of sun haze and whatnot, basically missed the zone. And he was outside of that zone when he did his start practice, and he admitted as such. He did basically, unfortunately, again here they went through. He admitted as such. Stewards determined he followed the race direct instructions. They've given him a warning. So George had an interesting FP2, and then got off scot-free with things. So those are our decision documents per se right now. There is a new race director's competition notes. See if there's anything new in here that's worth pointing out. And these documents are really fun to look at. One of the first point 4 article F1I regulations. In order likelihood of accidents for the safety car, blah blah blah. This is the Max Verstappen rule. Literally, there's an image here of what you can and cannot do, and it's here because of Max Verstappen. So the pits exit white line and safety car line 2 has been widened. That's the only change that they've made to the circuit. That's a new addition. Some alignment, some gravel strips was replaced by gravel. Was replaced by a grass strip. Concrete apron behind the curb to be removed and replaced with turf on exit 10. Lines at the circuit repainted with FIA approved paint. So they repainted lines for the circuit. And we are about maybe 4 minutes away from our start. Again, they are estimating session start at that time. So yeah, track is still under yellow flag. They haven't brought it back to a green flag scenario. So I'm waiting what's happening here in one moment. Hey boss, I gotta step away for one moment. I gotta take care of something. I'll be back in about a minute or so. Why the delay? Basically, I'll tell you this before I take care of what I need to do. Basically, the scenario is basically in FP3, two of the Prema drivers, Sharp and Warren, basically drove hard and crashed and went into one of the Tech-Tour barriers, managing to bounce the Tech-Tour barrier up off the ground and then down onto the car itself. Both cars were basically destroyed. That brought out the red flag for FP3. Hey, your harbinger red flag still here. Brought out the red flag, and ultimately the F3 race was basically canceled. Did not resume because the barrier was in a bad shape. And I think part of it is they might have destroyed a piece of the Tech Pro barrier that needed replaced, because it was only about 20 minutes ago where they were still trying to get the barrier into correct position. That's one of the things about the Tech Pro barrier. It's basically like a bunch of Legos that you can put together that wiggly wobble. So they absorb the force of the collision well, but in doing so, I mean, but they are also at the same time easy to move around to reposition when they are disturbed. So it's easier to manage than, say, a tire barrier. So. Christian puts it, is it a possibility that Haas will use a Toyota engine in the next few years? It is possible. So the estimated time session start has been moved up. It's now 12:50. So it's 7 minutes from now. So I'm not sure what is going on with the track itself at the moment that caused another delay, but it's another 5-minute delay. Again, why delay is basically so about an hour ago, the F3 kids, particularly the two Trema drivers, started the race hard, and as you would expect, they crashed into the tech barriers really hard, and literally they took out the barrier. And so they've been rebuilding that barrier and putting it in position. I don't know that, again, we saw them just before, again, about 15-20 minutes ago, we saw them working on the tech-toe barrier. It wasn't in position. It wasn't in position as of yet when we saw that. So I don't know what else is going on, but it's another 5-minute delay. They've added 5 minutes from now. So they said it was about now. It was about when free practice 3 started. It's now basically another 5 minutes. So 12:50 local time start. Wonder if they will push back quality start. No, they're still within. They're still within. They've got flex time. So they push. Quali is 2.5 hours after. Normally, if schedule had held, quali would have been 2.5 hours after FP3. Right now, it looks like quali will be 2 hours and 10 minutes. And there are still marshals on the track. They're still sweeping up the track. So the track is being, so the barrier is in place. They're now cleaning the track of whatever was there. So the key number, so if the estimated time of session goes beyond 1300, then they will need to delay, quali will have to be delayed as a result. So yeah, they are right now getting the track ready for back in condition. It looks like there were probably lots of liquids on the track. They're still picking things up on the track. So there are one clearly marked marshal and someone else on the track right now. Looks like they might be coming off. I don't know. They're still on the track. So it looks like, yeah. So there are two people who were just on the track. They just came off the track, doing a final check of the surface. So we got 3 minutes. All right. So while we have this time right now, I need to step up, walk away for a moment. Hey, boss, just to tell you, I need to walk away for a few moments. I should be back at 12:50 local time for the start of FP3. So I'll be right back, everyone. My apologies.
Okay, I'll jump in until Grash is back. Yeah, still we're seeing just images from the grandstand and yellow flags. So okay, now seems the track is clear. So yeah, I think we might be starting in 2 minutes. Yeah, Mark, thank you in chat. It's green track. The debris seems to be cleaned and we should be seeing the cars on track very soon. Drivers are preparing. Some of them are already with the helmets and coming into the car. We see George Russell looking like a ninja with this on the hair. Yeah, they will be coming on track very soon. We have 1 minute and 30 seconds. Yeah, it's awesome to see that Turbine drive the track in a couple laps. Okay, we see the Racing Bulls. I don't know if this is Lindblad or Lawson. He's putting on the helmet. The limit, if you hit it hard enough, barriers are designed to slow the accidents only. Yeah, true. Remember that accident of Joe? Was it 2 years ago? Or that was a terrible accident that could have been like even worse if those barriers weren't there. Like the car could have gone into the audience and that would be a disaster. So good to have them there. Now we're in the garage of Alpine. Doesn't get the shock, not a good trade-off, exactly. Pretty sure one of our guys is sitting on that corner too. I'm not sure what you mean. Maybe I missed something. By the way, the 2025 pole position is 1:15.096. So far, the fastest time has been 1:19. And we have the first car on track. That is the Alpine of... Who is that? That is Colapinto. He is gonna be the first one going on track. We have green lights and the timer goes down from 60 minutes. Out of the pits, turn 1, and off he goes. Then we have Perez and Hamilton coming out too. So far, those are the only 3 cars. So if they need him back, well, I think with Albon and Sainz, they are good for now. Woke up 5 a.m. Okay, that is really early. Still a fossil says I need a Limblad to score a podium this year. That would be a big surprise, but why not? The rumor is that Williams will take Franco back in 2027. Oh, we have Aston Martin, is it? Yeah, that's Alonso. Alonso is on track, Gasly is on track, Perez, Hamilton. So 5 cars so far on track, with Colapinto setting some purple mini sectors, and of course that's gonna be the fastest time. Pinto with the fastest first sector, 29 seconds, 0.8. Peter says, sorry, I was AFK, did I miss anything? Well, you didn't miss nothing. It's just like 2 minutes since the session started, so you're right on time. Yeah, no one crashed. They were still clearing the track, the debris from a previous crash. But that wasn't F1 crash. Colapinto over the line, and he sets the new overall best, 124.222. Yeah, the crash was from the F3 race. So all good now. More cars on track. Now we see Audi, and we see also Grash coming back. So Grash, take it over.
All right, thank you, boss. So we got Hamilton, Perez, Colino, Borletto, Alonso, Hulkenberg, and Gasly on track. So it's interesting to see that Alonso is on track on a medium tire. So right now we've got Hamilton doing 121.599. He's the only one who's done. He's done a 121. We saw a 120 and 119 yesterday. So just to give you an idea where we're at. So we're a few seconds off pace at the moment. Again, 4 cars and Alonso. And then we've got Hulkenberg and Borletto on soft tires. So we got different groupings of tires. Hamilton, Hulkenberg, Borletto on softs, Perez and Alonso on mediums, and then Gasly and Colapinto on hard tires. So let's see. Minus, why have you moved the engine revs from your system? I'm not sure why. I think we wanted more space for tire history, I think is what we're going for right now. I'll be honest, I wasn't looking at the Tyre engine revolutions data when we had it, so we'll see. Again, welcome to the Racing channel. This is Grash, now back with you. Again, we have just started late. It started about 5 minutes or six minutes ago. We started FP3, and that's because the track there was an incident on the track during the F3 sprint race. We had two Prima drivers basically crash into one of the Teco barriers really hard, and it's a definitely go back and look if they probably should have put the crash online because it's an impressive crash. The barrier, so the drivers go into the barrier and the barrier literally gets bumped up off the ground like 4 or 5 meters. This is like a 3 meter. We're talking about a barrier that's maybe 2 meters tall and it's bounced 5 meters up in the air from the ground. So. Barlow started a new personal best. Hulkenberg with a new personal best. Barlow did 138.239 and Hulkenberg with a 140.144. Yeah, I mean that part of the reason it is a little bit slippery over there. Part of the delay is that they had to clean up whatever was on the track over there. It looks like some fluids got onto the track as well. So it wasn't just a barrier. It was obviously then there was debris and potentially fluids on the track over in that section. Gasly up to P2, 122.663. Hulkenberg into P2, 122.129. So that's 530 respectively for Hulkenberg, and Gasly's 106. Now, granted, this is going to about to change because Hamilton just went with a new fastest lap, basically added a whole second. Yeah, Hamilton just went into 120.572. Bordello goes P3. So we've got Hulkenberg, Bordello, Gasly, Colapino in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 slot. Alonso is still on the track, P6. Perez on track. Norris right now cooking. Ocon, Behrman cooking. Sainz on an outlap. Antonelli on an outlap. And Leclerc right now on an outlap. Yellow flag. Carlos Sainz moving slowly, and he's going to stop. Sainz is going to stop at the entrance of the pit lane. So he's not going to get into the pit zone. He's going to be just outside of it. If what we've seen holds, they will probably go to a virtual safety car to handle this. We'll see. So Sainz right now is stopped on the entrance of the pit lane. He's not in the pit lane itself. What happened to him? Yeah, Sainz. So Sainz lost power with his car. And then again, he is. So if you know there's that line that you have to cross to enter the pit lane, and you can't cross it if you're. He is basically past that line on the inside, but he's on the curve into the pit lane, but not in the pit lane itself. So he's still technically on track. Carlos is still in his car. So no, it's not green flag. It is a yellow flag still because Sainz is still in that position. So it looks like Carlos is trying to reset his car. Right now, the car's not been towed. It has not been touched by a steward. So they are now going into virtual safety car. Right now, the reason that they're trying to have him reboot the car effectively and see if they can get the engine back up and going. The engineer just basically just said it looks like it's game over, quote, using the words game over to Sainz. So it looks like he's going to be done for the session. Kimi was crashing in and then back. Well, it's because and the stewards are now coming out to the car right now. So he's telling the stewards to back off right now because if the stewards touch the car, he's done for the session. Yeah, Sainz is now getting out of the car. So I think part of why Sainz waved off the march is because it's an electrical issue. So car still right now still on track. They are in the virtual safety car right now. Normally, yeah, I mean, part of it is they couldn't red flag it because his car is in the way. Hulkenberg is saying that his headrest isn't properly mounted in. Fricks asks, are towed cars allowed to go back out in FP? I believe they can. Like if it was something small, if it like and mostly is if it something happened early in the yes they can because so it is now red flagged. So this is going to be it's going to be interesting now how they come in with that car in their way. Where did Sainz stop? He stopped on the entrance of the pit lane. Sorry, the pit lane entrance, I should say. He had crossed the dotted line to indicate you're coming into the pit. He is slightly off to the side, so there's room for them to get back onto in. I think this has been red flagged because there's an electrical issue. They need to be uh, careful with the car because of the electrical issue. Again, for those of you who have just showed up, red flags abound today, everyone. I am your harbinger of red flags. Haha. Where I was denied yesterday, I have now officially gotten my first red flag in this F1 season. So the issue right now is that we were delayed because of F3. There was a crash between the Sharp and Warden, the two Prema drivers, and they took out a barrier. Took out the barrier, messed up the track. Fun times. We started 20 minutes late because of that. We are now under a red flag in this session because Sainz, his car just basically, he lost power in his car. And he basically pulled off to the side of the track on the inside curb to the pit entrance. And right now the issue is that the marshals, because it's an electrical issue, the marshals don't want to touch the car. They need to address the car in a specific way because it's an electrical issue. So we are under red flag at the moment right now. We're seeing that it's back to yellow, so they're flipping around different. I don't know what's going on with our track indicator. We are under red flag still. Once you hit red flag, you stay red flag until race control says otherwise. There are other indications that will happen with the track. Ignore those for right now. Just put on some rubber gloves. You need to put on specific rubber gloves, Andy. Hey, Sid, welcome back to the family. I know you've been a member a couple times before. It's just you come, you go, you come, go. It happens. So, for those of you, what I'm talking about right now, Sid basically just joined the channel. He's been again. This is like Shay, Andy, Blue Hawk, Dark is here. I thought I saw L. L is another usual. Another one who's usual is Paula. Paula right now is one of our channel legends, so we refer to her as. She's basically just came out of surgery early. She had surgery last week. I think it was last week. Got home a few days ago, and she's now currently resting. She was here for FP1, could stay for FP1, and then ultimately has been resting, and she'll be back for quali. I think she said she'll be back for quali. If not, she'll be back for the race. More red flags in 2023. You're gonna have to give me the number of how many red flags there've been in the last 3 seasons. I don't know, but I will tell you that, Pat, I've probably seen most of them. Yeah, I've been referred to as the harbinger red flags because when I started on the channel, I was doing all practice sessions. So whenever anything happened, it would be a red flag. And so you, my grateful chatters, have blamed me for all those red flags. So, haha, I have now just basically accepted it. Yeah, there's been times where I've been not on the channel, someone else is commentating, and a red flag happens, and I show up afterwards, and they still blame it on me. So, go figure. So we're looking at an estimated time. Session start is 13:11. So in about a minute or so. So we're gonna lose about 10 minutes in this session because of the red flag. Yeah, throw those red flags in chat, everyone. You know, dude, let's do this right. Kraft, what happened to Donica? I mean, she's not with F1 with the Sky Sports team. That's all I know. No, no, don't call me Crash, because there's the Crash Bandicoot character. So just yeah, you do have to use the G. So we're about a few seconds away to getting back to the green light at the end of the pit lane to start the session back up again. I see Williams, I see McLaren. Trying to see what's going on. I wonder if they know how many fans they will lose by going to Apple TV. That's actually they're going to gain fans by going to Apple TV. Actually, in the long run. Ultimately, for someone like me, I am basically paying Apple as opposed to F1 itself or F1 TV. And because the everything's under the Apple subscription, basically F1 just gained every Apple subscriber. Yeah, but by the ways are out first. That would be Norris and Russell. Norris, Oscar, then Russell in the first three. Verstappen is next. Leclerc, Isaac, next three. Antonelli, Lindblad, Bottas, Lawson, next four. Yeah, let's be very clear. It's only in the United States where F1 has moved to Apple TV. But even still, if you're an Apple TV subscriber, you can link your account to your F1 account and get F1 Premium for basically for free. See a lot of people complaining about this is not F1 anymore. No, stop it. Stop. This is where F1 is in 2026. You complained again. I could probably go back, change. You were like, "This is not F1 because it's this," or when they brought in the hybrid, "This is not F1." It's a old argument. It is a tired argument. It is a bad argument. Looking right now. What's happened to the what's happened, coffee lover? I don't know who you're talking to. No, they have electric F1. We want real engines. Well, this is yeah, guys. Tough. Yeah, I have to mock you guys and to be like, yeah, you guys are complaining to complain. Oh, I'm not going to say that it's not an argument. No, it is an argument. It is. It's not even facts. I mean, yeah, the drivers. Oh, yeah, Max complained, but that's Max Verstappen. Max right now is P2. You guys need to give it time before you start complaining about someone in a lower position. You know, like right now, Sainz is 17th because he had an issue with his car. He's not going to improve. So right now, Hamilton is, as I say that, Antonelli just went to the top of the board, 120.324. These are more representative times. Fastest second and third sector. He has the fastest second sector, but it's from a different lap. Hamilton is second right now. Verstappen is third. Leclerc is fourth. Piastri is fifth. Isaac is sixth. And these are so P1 through P6 are within a second. Norris, Hulkenberg, Lawson, Borello round up the top 10. They are within 2 seconds. So Gasly 11 beyond are 2 seconds or more, or no time at all. Guys, Phantom says Kimi has been hot. Yeah, no, definitely. He's improving as he should be. As you know, I mean, we're expecting him to be literally the next Verstappen in the next 3 to 5 years. Valerie Bottas locking up all his tires. Fun, fun. See who's cooking it right now. Behrman's starting a flying lap. I'm trying to think. No one's. Yeah, so we got no one cooking per se at the moment. Max is on a pit out. Colpino is on a pit out. Yeah, track is very busy right now. A lot of people on track. So I don't think we're going to see anyone because of the track, the traffic on track. I'm not going to think we're going to see anyone try and do a push lap right now. Give it about 10, 15 minutes and that might change. Or you Beerman. 28 point, he's 8, he's over a second off. So Beerman's a second off right now after two sectors. So this is going to be his first proper lap of this session. So Hamilton says he's got a blue light that's throwing him off, and they think it's a toggle. It's not the toggle. Yeah, this is interesting. As we said, Leclerc went to the top of the board, 120.271. So proved me wrong. Fastest first and second sector. He did improve in sector 3. Lindblad moves to 9th, 122.489. He's over a second, 1.87. Hulkenberg to 5th. He's under a second, 796 thousandths. And Beerman ultimately did do a 12th. He was 1.259. So he was yeah, he lost time in sector 1, sector 2, lost a little bit in sector 3. Borello up to P4, 120.575. 3/10 off, fastest second sector. Verstappen right now cooking. So that 5 minutes has now arrived. Max right now, he has not improved in sector 2. He is half a second off in sector 2. Something happened in that lap, and I don't know what. Still fastest first sector. Oscar's gone P2, 120.317. Max is at turn 13, going to 14 right now. Hamilton setting a new fastest lap, 120.176, 95 thousandths faster than Leclerc, his teammate. Max goes P5. He's 332 thousandths behind Hamilton right now. So as it stands right now, it's Hamilton, Leclerc, Oscar, Antonelli, Verstappen, Borrell, and Isaac P7. Isaac comes in at 5.15, so 515 thousandths behind Hamilton. He's about 2/10 behind Max, which is actually that's actually really good. Hamilton P1 gearbox. I don't think he has gearbox issues. Verstappen gets crashes, energy's high. Said you know chat. You know the Maxiteers are in chat. Limbad is good for Limbad is actually his performance um has been very surprising. I think the most important thing is that Lindblad has been consistently been outperforming Lawson, and that's the first marker that we look at. Lawson versus Lindblad. They put Juan Pablo Montoya at turn 9 right now. Giggling like a little girl as the cars go by. Yeah, Hamilton said that he said, referred to as his DNA in this car, meaning he had a hand in building this car, unlike the last year's car. Also, Hamilton also has the advantage of he did not perform well with the ground effect, the Venturi tunnels, and all that in that last regulation. And that's one of the things that this regulation pulls back on, and it looks more. These cars are going to look and feel more like the cars that he won championships with. So yeah, no, this is going to be a wild year. McDrass says, what means sandbagging? So they mean that teams are intentionally not going as fast as possible to basically hide their hand, and it comes from the fact that literally at one point they would to slow a car down intentionally. They'd put a sandbag in the car to give it weight. So what they're saying is that their teams are intentionally going slower than they could. And it's not really that much of a case anymore. At this point, teams can't be sandbagging. Can't be. I mean, this was a big issue, a discussion point during preseason testing. Not anymore. I want to thank everyone in chat who's answered the Mr. X's question. Albin, stop. Albin is moving still. I see people saying about Albin, but I don't know what you're talking about. I see he's still moving on track. Alonso's definitely no. He's not sandbagging. His car is just bad. There's a difference. Limit getting points on his debut. Put that on your bingo card. Good to bring that up, Sid. There is a bingo league that we are part of. Essentially, you basically make picks on what could potentially happen, and if it does happen, you get points related how likely it might be. And Lindblad getting points on his debut is one of the things you can pick for your bingo card. Link for that is in chat already. You've got until I think till tomorrow. Let me just check. How much time do you have left? Yeah, you got until the race tomorrow to basically lock in your choices for the first bingo board. So Andy is betting on a double DNF. Well, see, the question with that, Andy, is how do you rate Aston Martin? Is it going to be are they actually going to start? And if they do, then you might get the double DNF. Leclerc right now doing a 119.827. Oscar was the previous leader, 120.164. So a third of a second faster over Oscar. Hamilton, leader before that, is 3.49 back. Antonelli is 0.497, and Verstappen is 681 back. Okay, so they're showing the replay of Albon stopping on track, but he stopped and then continued. So it is. So let's put this perspective. Albon is still moving on track. So right now, Albon is in sector 2, going to start sector 3. So he did stop. He is moving again. Albon is just driving a Williams. Oh boy. Got out. He's pushing the car. No, Albon did not get out of the car. He's still in the car. My God. Please be careful what you say. Looking at what you guys are saying right now. Looking at what's going on. Hamilton right now pushing at the moment. Good sector 1. Not a great sector 2. Well, he did not improve sector 2, but he's 2/10 there. 2/10 in, so he's about 4/10 back after 2 sectors. Not a great 34.6, so another 2/10. Ultimately, he's only, well, that last lap was a 120.243. So he's about half a second off his teammates' time. Hey, Paul is here. Glad to see that you're up and awake. So they're waiting for Albon to come back to the pits. He's right now coming to turn 13, 14, and that would be the entrance to the pit lane. And he did not pit. He stayed out. So this is, I don't know if there's actually something wrong with the car or if there's gremlins or I don't know. Lance Stroll's still not on track. Yeah, we don't expect Stroll to be out on track this session. We'll see how long. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those. We'll see what happens in quali with the Aston Martins. Alonso right now is P17. So again, right now the big storylines. Again, we got under 20 minutes to go in this session. So the big storylines right now is Aston Martin is still having issues. Williams is having issues. We had Sainz car lose power and basically we had to red flag the session because his car was in a not in electrical safe mode to push the car around. We also started this session late because 20 minutes late because F3 had a big crash between two of the Prema drivers, and that screwed up the protectile barrier, the track around it. It literally they were still like 25 minutes after the crash happened, they had gotten one of the cars onto a lorry. They were still just adjusting the Techco barrier when we started when this session was supposed to originally start, and then ultimately we needed a little more time. We delayed it 15 minutes, and then we needed another 5 minutes because they were cleaning the surface of the track. Alonso set a new personal best at 122.837. He's 3 seconds off, which is better than Colapino, Bottas, and Perez right now. Obviously, Sainz did not set a time, and Stroll has not been on track. Anything happened to Max? No, Max has been fine. He's 6/10 off, but he's in the pit right now. Only Oscar, Alonso, and Hulkenberg are on track right now. Just brought in one of the Haas's. Oscar passing Albon on track before he gets to turn 13. He just passed turn 13, 14 to the start-finish line. So he is pitting, and so is Albon. Let's see. We've got Alonso coming to the start-finish line. Is he going to... And he's going to pit. So that leaves Hulkenberg right now on track. He's at turn 12, going to 13, 14. Is he going to pit as well? He's the only driver on track at the moment, but he looks like he's slowing down. Racing F8 and 44, still concerned for qualifying for the... Yeah, I mean, we have no clue what's going to happen with the Aston Martin qualifying. 17 minutes left to go in this session. You're listening to the Race Statistics channel. This is Crash with you live with FP3. We've had an eventful FP3, and it started before our session. Started with F3, with them crashing out. We then got a red flag in this session with Sainz, with his car losing power. The red flag was because the car wasn't going to move, and then they couldn't they couldn't put the marshals on it normally because of electrical issues. Okay, pointing out that Audi took over from Sauber. I mean, they took over the Sauber 2 years ago, effectively. They were going to basically buy out the team over time, and then after they got about 50% of the way, they basically said they jumped in and bought the whole team out sooner than they originally planned. They have switched over leadership of that team because it needed it. Matteo is now back, after his gardening stint after Ferrari, is now part of that team. And with that new leadership in place, I'll be quite honest, they've actually moved that team has actually moved forward. Hulkenberg's still only one on track right now. He's on a push lap. Did 28.3, so he's about 0.6 off the pace, off of what Clerk did in Sector 1 so far. Hulk is out because that data, it's not a new team. All right, let's be very clear. Audi has bought out the Sauber team. Last year was the last year that Sauber existed as a team and as an entity. But for the past 2 years, Audi has basically owned that team. So yes, there is an engine in place here. There's also, but this is not a brand new team like Cadillac is a brand new team. Russell, Antonelli, Lindblad, Ocon, Barletto, Colapino, and Lawson now coming out, adding traffic to the track. Hulkenberg, his last lap was 122.510. So he didn't improve in Sector 2, Sector 3. So Russell right now on new soft tires. Antonelli also on new soft tires. So let's see if these are glory runs for the Mercedes. The yellow flag is out. Why is that? It looks like maybe Antonelli. Antonelli's, so we don't have. Oh, he has crashed, and this is going to be a red flag. This is what the heck happened to Antonelli? This is a big G's in chat. Red flag session with Crash again. And this is because Antonelli has crashed. Antonelli's out of the car. He's okay. Antonelli has crashed his car. We have not seen a replay of why. All right, now we're getting a replay. All right, so he's coming out of this is going to turn 1. Turn 2, he loses the back of the car and crashes it. And he hits the left side of the track, and then slides back to the right side. Oh, it's a hard crash. One of the tires came off the rim. He loses the back. So one of the back tires loses the tire off the rim. The back wing is destroyed. So Antonelli hits a curb and he bounces just slightly, and he loses control of the car, and he turns backwards into the wall, and then hits. Man. Yeah, no, it's what sabotage Russell's purple. Yeah, he did. He did. Russell was on a flying lap with sector 1, sector 2. Everyone is now coming into the pits. So a Merc starting from the pits would. Well, no. They have to repair. Well, the first thing they got to repair the car. So, rules of red flags. When we are in a practice session, the red flag, the session timer does not stop when we're in a practice session. If we were in quali, the timer would stop. So they've actually moved pretty quickly to get a crane to the car already. They're going to probably lift it off. Car is off the ground. One of his tires is dangling. Looks like one of the marshals is going to walk with the the car to carry that tire. Repair that in 2 hours? Yeah, they're going to have to. So, it's still a red flag. I know that our display has gone green. They're still cleaning the track. Yeah, so Antonelli, this is going to be very interesting. So it's going to be so with the Williams in play. So we're looking at going into quali. What is going on with Aston Martin? What is going on with Williams? Now we can add Antonelli to this list. So they have the car up off the ground. It's a question of how fast they can go. They are still cleaning the track surface. There's still a lot of debris from that accident still going on. They're using brushes, brooms on that track right now. Wait, can you watch on Discord? You cannot watch on Discord. You have to. Yeah, no, we're not asking. We don't promote illegal streams. Sorry. If you're in the United States, you need to be watching using F1 TV or Apple TV. If you're outside the United States and you have access to F1 TV, use that. Your local broadcasters after that. Damage. That has to be a damaged engine and gearbox. Gearbox at least. I don't know if the engine looked like he turned off the engine pretty. It doesn't look like the engine was damaged. The back end of that car, gearbox, suspension, wing definitely, and some suspension pieces all definitely got destroyed. Antonelli to the top of the Constructors' Championship, a big early lead. Yeah, that's a big. So where is? So they've got the car off the track. So the car's behind the barrier. The question is the track surface? Yeah, they are laying out pieces of the car off the track. Oh, this is um it's amusing how they're laying out the pieces of the car, like the pick of the wing. Right now they're coming through cleaning the track. We've got 6 minutes left to go in this session. Hurricane points out that they don't have spare cars these days at Stella. Yeah, that's very true. They're not allowed. They're only allowed to have 2 cars set up. Williams got into some heat because they were able. One of their cars got destroyed. They were able to rebuild another car from the parts they have. Yeah, they're not allowed to have a third car, a spare car set up. Again, days when Schumacher jumped in the spare car and still got pole. Yeah, I mean, they're not allowed to have that third car set up anymore. And again, Williams, so 13:46. So in about a minute, within the next minute, they're going to start the session again. So there'll be about 5 minutes left. Which car is damaged? It was Antonelli's car. His car is off the track. Big pieces are off the track as well. They've been stacked up on the side. So we got literally 1 minute to go for session restart. So they're lined up. It looks like they've got Haas, one of the Alpines, Lando. The Audis are in line. The other Alpine is behind. I think is think that was behind the Audis. Taking a moment right now to refresh our data stream. It will catch up live just before the session restarts. And we have a green light. Norris is going to lead them out. Russell's going out second. So this is our out laps. And then we suspect that they are going to go on to a flying lap right away. Albon coming out afterwards. Red Bull's trying to get out. They're caught behind the traffic. So after Albon, it's going to be Ocon, Gasly, Oscar, Bortoleto, Hulkenberg, then Hamilton. Three minutes left to go in this session. Where can I watch this? My doggy site is not working. Well, you can watch along with us here. But again, as I've said before, if you're in the United States, get Apple TV. You can get then F1 TV from that. If you're outside the United States, F1 TV is, if you've got access to it, is your best bet. And then your local subscriber, like if you're in the UK, Sky, whatnot. Andre Patrick, I don't have video. Was there anything shown from the engine? No, Antonelli went backwards, lost control of the car, and the car spun, and he went backwards into the wall. And then went across the track and went backwards into the other side as well. So it was mostly the back end bodywork and the back end and the wing that took all that damage. NPTL is saying, can't wait. Yeah, I can't wait for qualifying as well. I mean, we've got 90 seconds left to go in this session right now. And I'm curious to see if anyone bins, because one of the things that could happen is that we could be bidding in this. Yeah, please don't indicate illegal streams. We like our stream. Don't put our stream at risk because you're being pirates. Russell to the top of the board with 119.053. Did not get his sector one time. He had a better sector one time the lap that was aborted. Here we go. 17 seconds left to go. Trying to see right now, where's Norris? So Hamlin is cooking. Oscar is still cooking. He had cooked. So Oscar goes with P3, 120.087. Here comes Hamilton. He improved in sector 2, but not in sector 1. Hamilton goes P2, 119.669. He's only 616 back. Clerk is 774 back. Ox is 103 back. Lindbergh goes to 10th, 1.785 back. Isaac and Verstappen, the last two, I think they're cooking. Isaac goes P5, 1.84 back. Then we got Max going P6, 1.144 back. And that, I think, is everyone. Let me just check. Albin is still cooking. Behrman's coming on the line. He goes to P10, 120.778, 1.725 back. Let's see where Ocon goes to 120, 1.93 back. Here comes Albin. Albin improves in his time, but not his position. And I think Lawson is on a lap right now. Let's see. Does Gasly? No, Lawson pitted. My God, that Russell is 0.6 clear of Hamilton. That's the difference between P1 P2. That's crazy. So our top of the board is Russell, Hamilton, Leclerc, and then we've got Oscar, Isaac, Verstappen. Then Antonelli is technically 7th on the board. Then we've got Norris and Bortoleto. Behrman limit our top half of our grid. And that is our session. Bottom half of the grid is Lawson, Ocon, Hulkenberg, Gasly, Albino, Lawson, Bottas, Perez. Sainz did a lap but did not finish it. And Stroll did not. Sainz did not set a time, and Stroll did not get on track. So, again, the story coming out of here is ultimately, what's going on with the Williams? What's going on with Aston Martin? I would throw Cadillac because they haven't been performing. I mean, they haven't. They've been performing, but not performing well. So those are the bottom three teams. We got to look at what's going on with Antonelli because his car crashed. Nina Rex calling a rocket. I have not called it a rocket ship, so that's interesting. I hope you're referring to a different commentary crew because that's not me. Anyways, that is where we are right now. Again, so we will be back. I don't know how they are going to affect times. As it is right now, quali should be on 2 hours from now. Again, basically, the regulations say basically there has to be 2 hours between the last practice and qualification, and we have that. We've got 2 hours and 10 minutes between technically the end of this qualification. Sorry, the end of this practice and qualification. So that's what's going on. We should be back in about 90 minutes. Either 90 minutes, an hour and 45 minutes. So anywhere between 30 to 15 minutes before quali starts, we'll be back. So just pay attention. When you're done with, when this ends, those on YouTube, you'll be brought to the qualification stream. And if you're not, the link is pinned in chat. Those of you in Twitch, stay where you are. We'll be right back when we get back. All right, for everyone here at the Racing Statistics channel, we'll see you in